I'm going to be using these beautiful rolls of washi tape today that I got from Temu. I've not seen anything like this before and they really intrigued me. There's 6 different rolls that you can buy. So you've got like a little coral bit there, and the idea is that you overlap them so they make a little scene. So there's this one here that's all these palm trees, and there's this one here that's the sky. So you can put those down and overlap them like that, and then just build up a little scene how you want it. So let's get started. I'm going to be using the Resin Magic Pour today, which is a casting powder with a 3:1 ratio by weight. So I've got 300 grams of powder in there and 100 grams of water. So I'm going to start by mixing this all up. Get that nicely mixed in. And I'm using this tray mould. I think it was from Temu. I'm sure it was from Temu. And it has this really nice support system that stops it bowing. So that's good. Right, so I think that's nicely mixed in now. I think it's just those little lumps that I've got on my stick. So let's just mix those in. This mixes in lovely. Right, I just wanted like a really subtle marble effect on this. So I'm going to use the Mrresin pigment in the blue. And I think I'm just going to do 1 drop. That's all I'm going to use. Just 1 little drop in there and swish that around. And then I'm going to start by adding this just around the outside of the tray, because I'd rather have the deeper shade of the marbling around the outside and then it'd be clearer or whiter in the middle, because you're not going to see much of the inside. Well, you're not going to see any of them inside, I don't think, once it's covered. Right, I think I need to mix up some more. Not too bad, it's not far off, but I think it just needs a little smidgen more. So I'll mix that up off camera and then I'll be back when this is ready to demold. This is all cured up now, so let's pop this one out and see how it's looking. Let's just pop that out the way for a second. Right, so it should be easy enough to come out the mould. Nothing too difficult here. Right, don't forget to put your moulds in the right way though, otherwise you get odd creases in them. Right, so let's have a look. Oh, nice. So it was the outside marbling that I wanted to show up more, so pleased with how that's looking. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this to dry out overnight now, and then I'll see you tomorrow for the next bit. This has had a chance to dry out overnight, and I'm just going to use a piece of tape and then just go over the top of this just to make sure there's no bits of dirt or anything or hairs stuck in there that could show up on the washi tape. So that should be nice and clean in there now. Let's have a feel. Something there, I think. Right, that's better. Let's start with I'll start with the sky at the top, and I'm just going to cut a piece to length, so about there, and chop that off. And this is washi tape, it's not DTF, so there's only 1 layer to take off the back. And then I'm going to place that right up the top there and line that up, and then gently put that down, and then I'm just going to use my nail to get into those corners. And there we go. And I've put a new blade into my knife so I can trim round the excess that's overlapping here. So that bit round there and down there. Oops. And take that bit off. Missed that little bit there. Let's get under that bit. There we go. And then the same with this corner. Just cut through that tape there. And then take that bit off. Right, I think the next bit I'm going to do is, I think I'll only do one piece of the sky bit. So now I'm going to use this section, which is the sea. So same again, I'm going to cut off a length of that and then place that down in the bottom and separate it off. So same again, get that nice and close to that edge there, and then push that into the corners, and then the same with that side. Just turn it around, push that down into there and round into that bit, and then trim off those bits, getting as close to that edge as I can there. And the same with this side. Cut round that bit and then take that off. Right, so that's the sky and the bottom bit. I need more of the sea. Right, and then I'm just going to overlap that just a little bit and then rub that down. And then cut off those side bits. And then the same again, that side. Over that bit. The other bit I've got is, where's the little coral pieces? This bit here. So this will go at the bottom, down there. So that can go on. So I'm going to cut that bit across there. And then that's okay to go down. That's not going to interfere with anything else in the picture. So that will go straight over the top of that bit that I've put down the bottom there. Make sure it's all stuck down well. And then I'm going to put that on the bottom. I'll go there. And then push into the corners, and then the same the other side. And then trim those pieces off. So I think possibly maybe another row of the sky. So again, got that funny little flaw there. So I'm going to take that bit off, and Yeah, I don't want that to be the same, do I? I might have to live with that little flaw there. Not sure if I want 2 of those bits there in it. You're not going to see much of it, so I think I'll do that. I think I'll cut that to there. And then put that bit on the top of the sky. So place that down, overlapping it a little bit, and put that down there. Make sure you haven't got any bubbles or anything in it. Get that pushed down and then trim off that excess. Same with that side. So let's put the trees down. So I'm going to overlap that bit there. Put those there. I've never seen washi tape like this before. It's like so clever that you can build up your own little scene. So if you don't want to put the huts and things down, you could just have it literally as just like a sea theme, or the other way around, just with like the little beachy bit. It's clever, isn't it? Right, let's chop those bits off. There we go. So now I want my huts to go in front there. So take the backing off of those ones. And then place that over the top. And where should I put it? About there, I think. And I will be doing a top coat of resin over all of this, just to make sure it's all nicely sealed in. Right, so that's how it's looking so far. Like that. Right, let's just chop off that side bit there. Take that bit off, and oops, same with that side over there. Right, now for my other bits with the waves, so that can go down there. So just taking that backing off, and what should we have? The lighthouse over to the left a bit more, I think. So I want to cover up that line that's there. So about there, I think. Place that down. And then take those last little bits off there. That one there. Oops. And then that piece over there. There we go. Right. So that's how it's looking. I like that. That's really clever, isn't it? And then you've got the little coral bit at the bottom. So I'm just going to go and mix up some resin, and then we'll give this a top coat. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin epoxy resin. It's a lovely one-to-one resin, and I'm going to add to that some of the Super Sparkle White from Tracy at Mini Scenes GB. And she does this in two different meshes. There's an 80 mesh and a 200 mesh. So I'm going to use the 80 mesh and pop some of that into there. Give it a little bit of a bling. And just going to get that mixed in. I'm not too concerned about incorporating bubbles while I'm mixing this, because it's only going to be a thin layer and we can torch the bubbles once it's poured. Right, have I got enough sparkle in there? I think so. Right, so I'm just going to do a layer all over the top of this now. Hopefully I've made enough. It's quite a nice deep tray, this one, so you can afford to go that little bit deeper if you want to. Right, let's just work this round to all the edges. That should be plenty in there. Just going to swoosh it all the way around. Make sure there's a nice even coat. You don't want it pulling away from the edges. So you need to make sure you've got enough for it to not do that. Just need to get it down to that corner down there. Right, so that's got a good layer there now. So I'm just going to take my torch, and this is only a fine cigarette lighter. Not that it matters because it's not in a mould, so I think I could probably use my bigger torch. Oops, maybe not that high. Let's lower that down a bit. There we go. Give that a torch, pop any bubbles. Right, so we're going to leave this to cure, and then I'll finish off around the edges. I think I want to put silver around the edges, so we'll leave this to cure, and then I'll see you back when this is ready. This is all cured up now, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe I wish I'd used a smaller mould to do this in, and just used that middle section there, because I'm not really happy now looking at it with that line there and that line there. So I think to get around it, I think I'll make it look like it's intentional. So I've got this silver strip, and I think I'm going to put that across that line there and stretch that over. Try and get that as straight as I can, and then trim that off. Cut that off that side, and then the same that side, and then do the same down the bottom bit. What do you think? Is this the right move or not? Right, so I'm going to put that there, and then make a feature of like that middle bit, like it's a picture in 3. So put that down there, chop that bit off. I've got my knife around the right way, yeah. Chop that bit off. That's already like that. Okay, and then to tie in, this will need like another top coat of resin, but because there's quite a nice depth to this tray, I can get away with like putting another layer of resin over the top to seal it. And then to tie the silver in, I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'll go round the edge of the tray with a silver pen. So what I'll do is, I'll do this off camera, and then give this a top coat of resin, and then I'll see you back when that's done. This is all cured up now, and I think that's looking better with those strips down the middle there. What do you think? Let me know in the comments whether you think I've done the right thing there or not. So the next thing I want to do is, I've got some Clark's stone and concrete wax. So I'm just going to go around the outside of the tray here and give this a good seal. Just go all the way around and then buffing it as I go. So that's all around the outside, and then I'm just going to pinch around and do that inside lip as well, so it all gets a good seal. And then I'm just going to take a dry tissue and just buff that in. Oops, upside down. There we go. Just get that buffed in. And I have gone round the outside with a silver pen, so that ties in with the silver strip there. Right, so the last thing I want to do is just put some feet on the bottom. So I got these little rubber stoppy feet things. So I'm just going to put one in each corner, and then that protects any surface that it goes on. Flip that back over. Right, so that's my tray all done. What do you think? I like the washi tape. I think it's like a really good idea. I just think it should have been, I should have done a narrower tray. But I think I'm happy with how that's looking. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
Oh, so free. Me and my husky on the open sea. Resin molds and hand life as a breeze, creating treasures with such ease. Waves are rocking softly, makes me smile. Colors swirl and blend in endless style. Sunshine